Okay, so I want to share with you my charting, and it's kind of crazy. It's, a little different than probably what most people um, chart, because a lot of people are just doing these topper things, but I, I really ran through a lot of concepts and um, the idea that stemmed from it is it's designed for potentially space exploration, right? How do you chart space when there's nothing to chart? And it's moving averages of celestial objects, right? Within space as they're moving within a what we call gravitational force. I'm calling it that because I don't have anything else to call it, but I think it's close to the fundamentals. But space has its own dynamics that maybe we don't quite understand yet, and that's why we have the ideas of anti-gravity and other stuff. But to chart space, right? When you think about charting space, how do you chart space? How do you know where you're going to go if you just put the shit on autopilot? It's not like Earth, right? Where it's very clear where you can go. We've charted Earth to the best of our ability, at least in the skies. But I'm not going to go into too much details, but my charting is based on parallels. And in technically how the market should work, should the Fibonacci spiral is accurate, but not necessarily for the stock market. I do believe the stock market should go negative. It would make sense that you would have a stock cycle around and go in a negative direction, but I don't think our tools are designed for it. I think we'd actually have to have like stock trading in a VR headset. And maybe that's crypto. I'm not a big advocate of crypto, um, as some of you may or may not know. But I've been uploading a video on the back end and seeing if the Mac Studio is doing any better. Export incredibly fast. Like I exported 40 gigs and like it was instant. It was freaking instant, and it's like sweet. Yeah, this says 96% left, 97%. So it's still uploading. It's just sometimes the screen just disappears, and then I have to open up another tab to see like, is it still uploading? Is it not? What's it doing? So if it stops uploading, I can usually start the upload again, and YouTube knows like, hey, this is the same video, and it picks up where it left off. But it is kind of annoying that it happens so frequently. I really feel YouTube should make an app for it. But I want to show you my charts. I'm not advising you on how to do your stuff, right? I'm been testing this for predictive analytics, and I need help to be able to do it. I need AI, and I need other tools to really advance what my charting forward, and I need more people. But one thing at a time. I've made quite a bit of money off of it, and I've made quite a bit, and I've lost quite a bit. I had some things I had to settle personally and professionally, so my funds are way down. But that's beyond the point. And at the end of the day, I still want to kind of share it with you on what I've been working on, because it does tie to other relevant things. We're going to upload another video that finished exporting. This one wasn't as big. This was just a stupid open box thing. But this is usually what I'm doing. I'm doing multiple tasks. This is how I'm testing the device in real world. If you want to read my blog post on the Mac Mini versus the M4, the M4 Mac Mini versus the M4 Pro version, very helpful for any of you looking to buy a Mac. Definitely very helpful. I just finished charting Tesla, and I'm going to start on Meta, and I'm probably going to chart Apple next. I also will typically chart QQQ. There is anomalies within software that I've been monitoring as well, and I'll explain it as we start charting. But I want to add my little post to it. I have a lot of different folders. I have a plan with chat, and Sam's a great guy over there. That team is a freaking amazing. Unboxing video, Mac Studio. I have some template stuff laid out in there. It's a kind of a pain in the butt to train this damn thing a lot of the times, but once you get it dialed in, it's like, oh, okay, that's pretty straightforward. Upload times still suck, and I don't know if it's the internet, I don't know if it's the Mac, I don't know if it's YouTube, but I mean, I do a speed test and I get about a gig. And mind you, I pay for 2.5 gigs at the house, and we can get 5 gigs. Not that I'll benefit from it because the devices, this does 2.5 gigs, but you're not going to get 5 gigs on anything. But see, we're getting about 700 megabits. But yeah, it's saying to upload this 10 gig file, 6 minutes. I don't know. Maybe it's cranking, starting to catch up. This was a short one. For the quick little unboxing of the Mac Studio. Kind of excessive packaging in my opinion. It's just some stuff is like, yeah, okay, I guess it's eco-friendly. Yeah, it's a cardboard box, I can burn it, you know, that makes it eco-friendly. But did it need to be that excessive? Did it need to be this enormous? I mean, this device in that big box, I don't know. If you're building a robot, sure, but no. Kind of made for kids. I think YouTube kind of needs like a, you know, in the middle one. Boxing reviews, real world, Mac Mini M4, Mac Mini M4 Pro, compare Mac Studio. It's funny because the Macs don't capitalize mini. Mini stays lowercase, but when you do the which Temecula, well, QCell. Usually where I put like some back end stuff. Well, actually, I'm going to do renewable innovations. TQ cells. Power. Yeah, stuff. Always mark my video as English. It's supposed to like default, but I haven't seen it default to anything. And I have started like Apple Store, Temecula. Kind of going through some stuff. But if you're like a trader and oh look, that one's already uploaded, that one's done, so I can hit publish. And then YouTube, it takes a while for YouTube to like process this stuff. It's like some of them it's like 4 to 8 hours. So that's good. I can close that. Yeah, that's uploaded. And then let's get over here. So I use Schwab. Because I can actually chart in there, and it's important that you have your parallel lines set up to infinite, right? They need to be able to go infinite. Looks pretty chaotic right now in this widescreen. As you zoom in, you do start to see more things. That's why it's like if you had a headset on and this was in 360, it would be a lot easier to kind of understand where it's going from. I have tried doing the tops and the bottoms. You know, people do the Wix stuff. Don't get me started on the Wix. There is a tool you need that I'm not going to share. This is my tool that I've built based on moving averages. It's built in numbers. So it pulls data automatically for me, and then I can, you know, change some stuff. Bull, bear market, right? You know, is it going to go up? Is it go down? What's my risk reward? How much do I want to spend? You know, where are my entries, exits? You know, stuff like that. This charting spreadsheet I kind of have it here. Here are different ones that I've charted over time just to do, but the ones that have been following the most consistently has been Tesla, Meta, Apple, QQQ, and SPY. I've made my most on Tesla, lost the most on Meta. That I need to chart to make money on Tesla, I don't know. But mine again is different than what everybody else's. You need these moving averages, variances, and then you have moving average variances. You have daily moving averages. Like this is data that I find relative and helpful in determining when I want to take a trade besides just looking at the patterns. Again, I'm not taking trades for a long period of time, but the idea was to build this out within an app for predictive analytics. There's more research to be done, but it is a starting point and it's proof of concept. So I'm right now, these are the time slots that I have selected that I chart on: 360 4-hour, 180 4-hour, 90 4-hour, 30 4-hour, 20-day 30, 10-day 30, 5-day 30, 3-day 30, 1-day 30. And then you zoom in from there, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 days or 30 minutes, whatever you want to do. I tend to be looking at 1 minute, but I've been trading on Robinhood, and I can't chart on Robinhood the same way I can chart on here. So there's that. Right now I'm charting the 180 4-hour, and how it works. To me, it doesn't matter to share it with you because you can't do it without my moving average tool. You might be able to if you're smart enough, but you go from the low to the moving average to the high in parallel, and then from the high to the moving average to the low, and that's going in one direction, and then you go in the other direction. So you have to do it forwards and backwards. It's because that's space, right? So imagine this. This isn't 2D. When I look at this, I don't look at this as a flat plane. I actually look at this as a vast plane. I don't know what else to call it besides a vast plane, because it's not a flat plane. So when a plane isn't flat, then it must be vast. So now I'm doing the 184 hours. I'm zoomed all the way out, right? So I have everything right here on there. So what I'm going to do is I need to mark my low. That's where I'm going to start. I have parallels drawing tools. I know they call them channels, but it's a parallel. And then you need to keep track because it is very confusing. So my low is 465.68. In this, I did want to create more data points. That's why it's like need tools. That's why I was putting the charts in there, but I don't even need to get into that yet because I don't have the application built or the AI capabilities to be able to really compute all this information. So 465. So what am I looking for? I'm right over here. So I'm trying to get as close to the low as I can. Sometimes you won't be able to. That's where you have anomalies. That's why I call it software anomalies, because the software doesn't let you pick the number that you want. So you want to get to the one as close as you can to that number. When I build the application, it creates a variance. The variances don't destroy the trade. They can if you're like way off, but if you maintain a tight variance anomaly, then you're fine. So 465.68, I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to move up to my moving average. I already updated my moving average. I know it's 609.89. So as you can see, I'm going 609 and it jumped. So I'm 609.15, 609.74. That's within 15 cents. And then if I go up a little bit more, 610.32. So I'm going to go with 609.74 as my variance. And what is funny is usually you have a range between the two averages that I have. I have an OCA and an HLA. I have two different moving averages. I use the OCA as my marking point. So I'm going to click 609.74, and then I got to take my parallel line to the high, and that is 740.91. So there you go. I got 740.91 over there. I'm going to click on that. So perfect. We've marked off our low moving average high. We have to do this 4 times in total. Potentially there could be more, again, software limitations. So now I'm going to click on the high, and I'm going to go down to that moving average, and I'm going all the way down to the bottom. Now, how far out I am, because it's predictive analytics, is going to depend on what you want to do. I have it set up a certain way that I have found to be the most accurate, but there's still room for improvement. So I got down to that 609.74. I already know that's the closest I can get. That's within 15 cents. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to come down here to the 465. And I want to find that wick that has that low. And 465.68. Cool. I'm going to click on it. So now I'm going to mark it. It's good to have like a little thing to mark. So if you stop, because if you screw up your chart, you have to erase the whole fucking thing. So either make a duplicate of it every time you chart. I don't know. It'd be cool if the software let you chart a new one and then you could delete it. But again, that's something I would work on, not here or there. I have been looking at maybe rebuilding the tool because my MA, my pricing tool, I could build for crypto if I build it in Google Sheets, supposedly. I just haven't had any desire to do that because I honestly don't like crypto. 465.68. Now I'm going to go in the other direction. So I'm going to go from my low, 465.68, and go up to my moving average, right? 609.74. That's the closest I can get. I'm going to click on that side, and then I'm going to go up to here. I'm really documenting this so I don't forget how to do it again, because it took me a while to fucking remember how to do it in the first place. And then I showed Amy how to do it, and then she helped create some stuff, and she did some charting. She's done a lot of this charting, so I'm piggybacking off a lot of the charts that she's done. She was really good at it. So she was really disciplined at like being meticulous on the numbers, because you need to be meticulous on the numbers. Because too much of a variance isn't an anomaly. That's being lazy, and it can cost you thousands of dollars. So now I'm going to go high to moving average, and then I'm going to set my parallel line. So there, I click there, and 465.68, boom, right there. So I'm going to mark those. So I've done 2 charts out of those that I need to for meta. Now I'm going to switch my time to the 94-hour, right? So now, and you'll notice your highs and lows may not jump enough. This is a thing you don't need to chart every single day, but you do need to check it. I haven't charted, Amy, the last charting she did of this was March 31st. So we didn't chart in April, and here I am charting in May because I'm like, fuck, the market's moved a ton. I'm starting to not have too many lines within the variances, or within the smaller time frames. So I need to chart. Since we're getting divorced, I'm not going to ask her to chart. I need to chart. So I know my high and low are the same still, 465.68. So I'm going to click on that. But what you'll find is that your connection to the MA, the moving average, does change between the time zones. So 609.74. So that one's actually the same. Doesn't happen too often like that. So cool, I can click on that one. And then we want to get as close to this wick as we can, 740.91. There you go. That's 740.91. And then we're going to go from the high down to that same moving average. 609.74. And sometimes you'll find that the moving average, your high to MA is different than your low to MA. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. And then we can grab this one, the 465.68. Okay, so that was my high to MA to low. And now we're going to do it backwards. Low, and that's a step I forgot. Yeah, it was an early step, and I'm like, why aren't I'm missing lines? I'm missing stuff in here, and it was because I wasn't charting reverse. I was only charting in one direction. It's like, no, lines go in both directions, because even though this line's pointing down, if the stock comes down, you have chart lines. So again, predictive analytics, you can see behavioral trends because this is based upon psychological levels. It can be used for space, though. It will be used for space in good time. So we are looking for 609.89. We're as close to that as we can, which is 74. So we're going to click on that and see when I go on the high, see I have a cut over here. So 740. And I know this seems super complicated compared to you're doing little toppers, and that's fine. You know, don't listen to me. I don't really care. But I do know that when you zoom in on this shit and you're like, wow, those look like some clean lines. Those look like some good setups. It's kind of fucking crazy. And if you, as the stock goes up, you'll have lines in the future. So as the value, I like Meta the most because Mark hasn't split his stock. So his is one of the few stocks that hasn't been split. So that's going to be my, I did my high to low, all right, I click, and that's it. So we're done. We did our 4 on the 90-day. All right, now we're going to go to the 30-day 4 hour. Again, my high and low. Look, the high changed. So you got to pay attention. Things do change as you shrink how many days you're looking at. So, but the low hasn't changed. That's still been about the same. Oh no. This one is different. This one's higher. So now we're looking at 479.80 on this chart. And this could be potentially liquidity in there. That's why I'm like not 100% sure. There's still so much research I need to do on this. But I'm going to start paying a little bit more attention to it because, well, I need some fucking money. And market's a wild beast with Trump as president, that's for sure. So as you can see, 609.89, we're getting 609.92, which is 3 cents over. That's perfectly acceptable. We want to be as close, if not on that number, as we can. We'll click on that. And then our high is 664 even. Let's see how close we can get to the high. Usually you can always hit your highs and lows. And you do want to hit your wicks when you can. 664. So that way you have your points. And then we're going to go down from the high to the 609.80, 92. There we go. And then 479.80. Cool. So we got that. We went from the high to the MA. And now we're going to do it backwards. And this is where it's weird because you have like up and down lines. Again, if the Fibonacci spiral, if this was a vast plane, then this would make sense because you know where this object is. What if this is a comet? This could shred through your aircraft, right? We're not there yet, but this is the stuff we need to fucking figure out for space travel before we go fucking flying our asses to Mars in a fucking rocket ship that looks like a giant penis. I mean, my goodness, you really think that's the fucking, we're going to build a colony over there? At best case, he ships some damn robots. Best case scenario. Those first missions, man, I wouldn't want to be those people going to Mars. That's for damn sure. Because you ain't coming back. It's a one-way ticket. 609.92. And you know what? Maybe we should send the trans men. I mean, those are the guys that think they're women, right? Yeah, send them up there. They think they can fucking have babies. Let them fucking colonize it. Get their crazy asses. They're crazy enough to fucking probably do it. Sign their asses up. I don't know. Okay, so that's that. So we've charted our 30-day. Now we're going to do the 20-day. And I'm going to zoom in so you can see when I'm done. So this one, the low is 529. So what I've noticed in the last 360, last year, we've seen the low reach, it's literally in last 360 days, increase, in 365 days, increase by nearly $200. So, knowing that's the low is tricky. That's the trick. How do you know that's the low point? Don't. But you can have a really good educated guess. Huh? So 529.50. Better than your toppers, those topper things. I don't watch those other charts. I'm like, I don't see, that doesn't tell me shit, personally. So now we're within 2 cents, right? The other line was within 3 cents. So within 2 cents, we're going to hit the 664 on this wick. Then we're going to go 664 to 609.91. And then we're going to go down over here to the 529.50. And then we're going to go in reverse. 609.91. And I know those lines are pointing down, but yeah, I'm telling you, like, it's because of how it's meant to be. And we're gonna go backwards from the high to the MA, 609.91, and 529.50. Perfect. So now we're gonna do the 1030. The low is 607.25. Grabbing that. And then we're barely right below that MA, which is 609.89. We're going to go up to the high, 664. And we'll re-click on the high, 609.91, 607.25. And I've tried enabling Snap and other things to try and get it as close to the numbers. But I think there's just an anomaly within the software. It's really interesting how the software picks a number for you, right? Why can't I grab this number? Why am I having to go between jumps? And sometimes it's a 2-cent jump, and then it's like a 70-cent jump. It doesn't make any sense. I call it an anomaly within the software. It's not programmed to do that. It's an anomaly. I'm telling you. So we did the low to MA, and then we hit the high, right? And then I did the high. No, I haven't done the high down to the MA yet. So 664. Down to 609.91. And man, if you get rich off my charts, by all means. Look at this. This one created a channel right here. 60. Please be sure to kick some down. 607.25. High to MA to low. I know it seems crazy, and then this one, since it's right here, we're just going to end up with a really weird kind of chart on this for this particular day that I picked, right? Your charts are going to be dependent on when you decide to chart. So just because it looks weird doesn't mean it's wrong, right? That's like golf. Golf feels weird as fuck when you play it. It really does. It doesn't feel natural at all trying to swing that stupid thing. And that's my best comparison. So that one goes that way. And that's that. So we have those charted. Okay, cool. And then we're going to go to the 5-day 30. We actually can't chart this one because there's no MA. This is kind of a problem with the fucking software because I can't scroll down. So if I could scroll down, I would be able to chart lower numbers, but I can't chart lower numbers. So until the stock comes down a little bit, I'm not going to be able to chart that. But let me show you like a more zoomed in time frame so you can see what I'm talking about. So we go down into like 3 minutes. So this would be like what your 3-minute charts look like. If you were going to make a trade for entry. And again, I haven't charted in a while, so I need to do some charting. But if this was your day, right, if you were going to put in your entry, you have your open, your stop. Like, what is this range, right? Okay, this is my range for open. That would have been your stop, maybe, right? Where you're going to say, like, okay, if we hit 619.88, right, and then is your stop down here at 617.64, There's your stop inside this zone, right? This maybe wouldn't have been your opportunity. Maybe you were looking for a short instead. So then you see this being your short opportunity, like, okay, I'm going to enter here in this range, and you can see the trend lines are going down, and we can see resistance up top. So at best, it's going to get hit up here because there's clearly resistance, and you can see like something hit up in this zone, and then it came back down. And then, you know, whatever sell-offs we've had going on. Here's another opportunity. Was this line your entry, right? In what particular time zone? This is on 3 minutes, you know, and then where was your exit? You know, here's another entry point. Here's maybe another exit, and that's a good jump from here. This is from 637 up to 638. Maybe this is another entry for continuation. Again, I haven't charted it in a while, so there's missing lines. You do need to probably chart at least once a week, or when new highs or lows have been set. That's pretty helpful. But you know, this could have been a short opportunity. As you can see, we have a trend line indicating downward movement. So it's like, okay, if we get into this zone, let's make an entry at 643. Let's put our stop at 643.39. That's not a big risk, right? I'm at 643. I'm risking 39 cents, depending on your share volume, obviously, to 643.39. And then where's your exit? Well, shit, if it hits here, let's add more. Shit, if it hits here, let's add more. Shit, are we adding more? Or are we selling as it's going down in these zones? That's where it's interesting. But you can see, like, boom, it hit this, didn't hit that, and it went down, 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 down. Right? Was how many bars down do you want to go? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was 5 steps down. That was $10, $7. Yeah, 643. Yeah, if we entered at 643, let's just pick this one. That's 640. So that was at $3 on yeah, I mean, that could have easily been like a $10,000 trade, depending on your you know, options opportunity or whatever however you're trading. Let's look at another day, right? And Tesla, let's look at Tesla. Tesla's got some craziness going on, but still, I just finished charting theirs. So we had their stock just files weird behaviors, but look, we have an entry here. You know, it wasn't in this hour, but look, this is an entry point. So if I zoom in a little bit more, it looks a little bit cleaner for you to see. Very clean entry right here in this zone, 332.04, picking a number right in the middle. And then what do we want? We want this as our exit, 335. Seems pretty doable. Here's another potential opportunity right here, 338.89. Maybe, but that was a clean setup right down there. And then where's the stop on this? So if we're at 332, where's this one? 330. So you're risking $2. That's a big gap. But look, that wick didn't come down. You know, that was a big wick up for it. That was kind of that's a little bit more than a 1-to-1 ratio. You might have wanted to push for this one, this 338. If you were gonna risk $2, you were gonna aim for the 338, right? That's a $5 gain on an options trade. That's a ton of money. Let's see, would have been up right in the beginning on your option, and then you would have watched this bitch come down, nervous as fuck. And then it came right back up on the next 3 minutes. So within 6 minutes, you were back to profitable. Then you're back up, and then you closed your trade. So there's pretty clear opportunities within these. Picking a direction and having your stops in place, yeah. Or not having stops in place. If you can close on your own, I recommend that. I don't recommend putting the stops in there because they have algorithms and they're really tracking them and really fucking hunting them down. And they're tracking them from you guys doing the stupid wicks thing because it's stupid easy. Stupid easy. So easy to take your money by just marking wicks and tops, and then you're setting up stuff from those. That's why I want to show you this. But let's jump back over to Meta, because just like Tesla, I was not able to chart on the lower time frames. So can I do the 3-day? Nope. Can I do the 1 day? Nope. But you know, it's like how big of an entry are you going to make? You know, you got a lot of diamonds in here, so you have crisscrosses. I know it's only red lines. you know, you have people that do wicks on the red ones and green ones, and they got different. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's sloping patterns. Which direction is the stock moving? Which direction is the market moving? Which direction is the resistance? That's the data I'm looking at. That's the data I've been trying to figure out. So, yeah. But I just kind of wanted to share that. It's pretty random. This is Apple. This is with no chart, right? So if we pull out like no chart 360, this is minimals on the chart. I mean, it got hit pretty hard from the tariff thing. Good. And you guys are going to go to India. So let's see the products made here in the United States. So we got the low way over here. I do need to update that moving average. So let's do that. So I'm going to click on my yellow line. And right now I have Apple, and it's gold. So gold means Apple is going to be possibly going down. So when I have gold indicators on, it typically indicates a bear market. And so we see continuation down. That I have confirmed. So when gold indicators are on, it looks like a stock is going to continue in a downward direction. But we just gotta still follow that and monitor it, because it doesn't just click back on quickly, but it's comparing it against a 90-day, I believe. I think this is maybe a 60-day. I forget what this one is. This is a 60. So yeah, against my 60, if that one number is higher than my 20, then it's considered to be a likely downward. So to be looking more for shorts for a longer term investment, right? This would be like a longer term investment strategy. That maybe this would be my entry if I saw this opportunity as a high, and then I might be looking for an exit over here at this lower MVA. And then these are moving average variances. So those are variances within the day. And then these are daily moving averages. So that's how much the stock actually moves per day. I'm usually following Tesla and Meta because they move so much. This much movement's really good, but this variance is crazy because it can be stacked on top of that. So Tesla easily moves $20 sometimes. Meta easily moves $25 sometimes. We've seen it happen, but we've also seen the stock just not move. So you minus that variance from my daily, and then you have those days where the stock it moved $5. Like no one just felt like trading Tesla that day. So, and it happens. So let's update Apple. It's at 205.70. The last time it was updated. So 24. Okay, so that bumped that line up. And we have our highs and lows. So I'm going to chart Apple out. And yeah, I know it's crazy on the big screen, and it gets hard when your chart gets too complicated and you can no longer hit it. You have to start a new chart, which fucking sucks. That's why it's like, gosh darn it. But yeah. I just kind of wanted to share it with you. Maybe you guys see something that you like, and I'll periodically post. And I post them by my charts periodically on X, so follow me on X. Links are down in the description. And if you find them helpful, if you see an opportunity and you make fucking $10,000, come back and leave me a tip on X, and I'll say, dude, I need more charts for this. I want charts on that. I'll make your charts because it's time consuming. So. If you make money and you're figuring it out, awesome. Let's work together then. Because there's plenty of money in the market for everybody to win, and it not be consolidated with organizations that just have a fucking stack. Look at this one, right? So we got the MA, we hit our low, we're within 1 penny, 205.69. Shout out to Musk on 69, since that's his favorite number. This seems like a weird perv thing, but that's me. I'll go to the low, 205.69. I'm going to scroll across because we're doing the 360. Then we're going to do it backwards. Got to find the edge. Always got to find the edge. 205. And see, this is a perfect example. I don't get 69, right? Am I getting 69 on that low? I get 55. So that's one of those situations where I'm going to go With the higher number, I'm within 5 cents. Click on that. I'm going to grab my 260.10. And I'm going to grab my high and pull that down. But I'm pretty sure this is how most of the bigger firms chart. I'm not 100% sure. They may not. Who the fuck knows? They're just using really advanced algorithms probably to steal your money. And I think that's bullshit. I really want this tool to, I wanted my predictive analytics tool to work in a way that literally takes the power away from big money and puts the power back in control of people that don't have a lot of money. People like us don't need billions of dollars sitting in our fucking bank accounts. We just need maybe $250,000 sitting in our bank accounts that we can keep trading with and keep making money with and keep living comfortably with. Like the fact that there's organizations with the amount of money they have, like Apple, doing nothing for anybody is insane. It's literally insane. And it's kind of infuriating. In my opinion, I think it's pretty infuriating. So. Yeah. All right. Well, you have a good rest of your evening. Be sure to subscribe. And, check out some of the other videos that we got going on. Oh, hey, Nugs. You getting ready for your walk? Oh, it's going to be time for his walk. So let's go take him on a walk and talk about our Mac Mini M4 versus the Mac Mini M4 Pro review. Because as you can see, we now have the Mac Studio up on the table. And that's because we're literally going from one base model to the next base model. Products that you can go in the store and pick up and buy with a little interference. So thanks for watching, and